Welcome to Black Motherhood Unplugged, Juggling Life, Work, and Kids. I'm your host, Jay Ashby, and this podcast is a heartfelt space for single mothers like you, mothers who have poured their hearts into their kids but may have lost a piece of themselves along the way. Here, we break the silence and share our stories, our struggles, our victories. This is a community for those of us who may not have the support system we need, but who are still pushing through with tenacity and grace. We're doing the work to create the lives we've prayed for, both for ourselves and for our children. Join me as we dive into honest conversations about the ups and downs of single motherhood, explore strategies for self-care, and discover the power of reclaiming our identities. Let's embark on this journey together, reminding ourselves that we are more than just mothers. We are our own assignments. So grab a cup of coffee or some wine, get comfortable, and let's unplug from the chaos and connect with our true selves. Today's episode is called Juggling, the Assignment is Me. I have mentioned in the past episodes that I started therapy, and my fourth session was about 2 weeks ago. And in that session, I had to present my homework. My homework was to write a letter of forgiveness to myself. Now, in pure fashion, I wrote it the night before. I know that I was procrastinating on it because I just wasn't ready to tap into those feelings, I guess. But I was ready because I joined therapy, right? Anyway, it was fine writing it. Like, it was a flow in getting all of the things that I held within out regarding what I wanted to forgive myself for. But when it was time to read it to her, it was as if I took my hand and went inside my chest and went all the way to the bottom of my soul and pulled up some traumas that I had planted within me. And I pulled it by the root, and I took it out, and I basically ripped it from the root because I cried. I deep cried, and I knew that I was holding back a little bit because she was encouraging me to let go and cry, let it out, that this was a safe space and it is okay. She also pointed out that I wrote an age in that letter, and that age for me was 17. She said, "Do you realize that you were speaking to your 17-year-old self?" And that is when life for me had changed. 3 life-changing events happened to me in those teen years, from 15 to 17. And as I was thinking about it earlier today when I was writing my notes, I think about my teenagers and how life is for them, and how my mom was so caught up in her own stuff that she wasn't aware of the possibilities of things. Of course, some in her control and some beyond her control, but she wasn't as aware as a lot of those in that age group, and that what do they call them, baby boomers? Anyway, when I think about that, I cried and I let it out, and I felt relief. Like, I feel like, when you're using your GPS and you put in the destination that you're going to, and as you're going, you're seeing the needle or the car move on the GPS. That's how I feel with my healing journey. That's how I feel about healing my wounds. It's not a scab. I'm not opening up these wounds and letting them scab. I'm healing them. Like, I'm putting herbs on it. I'm praying over it. I'm genuinely healing these wounds by the actions that I'm taking, by going to therapy and doing the work. So the purpose of this episode is for me to continuously share my journey as a single mother to another fellow single mother. This is season 3, and the premise of season 3 for me is finding myself. And if you're like me and you're still listening to this episode and you've shared it and you've subscribed and you've talked about some of the things that I've shared, you are well on your way as well. Like something is hitting home. There's some relatability there. And if you're still coming back to listen to my episodes and you're waiting for me to drop something, is because I'm helping you in some way by sharing some of the things that I'm going through, because you're not alone. My mom has always said, abajo de un techo hay una diferente historia. Under every roof, there's a different story. We all go through shit. We're not the first, nor are we the last. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard this thing too, that saying. So anyway, therapy, fourth session. Rewind to the first session. In my first session, my therapist said, like, she read me down. She said, you have created a mental prison under your kids. That's why it's hard for you to go out sometimes. Well, not hard. That's why you didn't want to go out. You didn't have the motivation to want to. That's why you've had emotions up and down. You've been feeling overwhelmed. And my understanding of that is because the Jasmine within me, the Jasmine who I was before I had kids, although that Jasmine was unhealed and I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And I've mentioned, I feel like my kids have saved me. However, just like a lot of us single parents, especially ones that don't have healthy co-parenting relationships or someone to pass the baton to, you make it all about your kids. You revolve your life around your kids' schedule because that's just what it is. There's no one else that could jump in and help you. So that's all you know, right? So during this journey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as I feel like I need to do this year. Like my spirit called me to do this year, to work on these traumas that I have deep rooted within me. Because you told yourself, Jasmine, you don't want another repeat of the last 5 years. If you've gone through these last 5 years with tenacity and faith, right? For a different year, looking for a different year, wanting things to be different for you, you're doing the work. It is not just geared towards being in a relationship. It is not that. I want that. Yes, I want that. But I want a better version of myself. I want to make sure that I don't continuously attract the same people that I am. You attract who you are. You attract the level of esteem that you're at as well. And for me, I've mentioned this and I'll always mention this. I want to make sure that I continuously do the work for not only myself but for my children, because I don't want my children having to go to therapy to heal from me. So here I am, I'm doing the work. I was speaking to one of my girlfriends, another fellow single mom, the other day, who lives in North Carolina, who moved there from New York City. And we were talking and I was sharing with her like belief systems. And I don't know how we got into the topic. Oh, she asked about my grandmother, and I shared with her, things are progressive, how these things are, blah, blah. And how I'm going to get back into pickling my garlic. I came across this video on TikTok by this woman. I can't remember her name, but she basically gave me the recipe she shared the recipe, not gave me. She shared the recipe on how to pickle garlic and how she started doing it because her grandfather had dementia and this helps prevent it. And I like it. It actually tastes really good. So I told her, I could kind of tell in her facial expression, it was like really not too judgmental. It wasn't judgmental at all, actually. But I told her in that same breath, I believe that it will prevent it. As long as I believe that, I know that it will. And there are just a lot of belief systems that I have created within myself that also go back to traumas as well, that I've shared. And I said that I don't want to share too much in detail about my therapy journey. I will share snippets that I feel will assist you all. However, I held a lot of convictions within myself that I know held me back from a lot of things that I know that I should have right now. So when my therapist told me that I created this mental prison, I'm like, damn, that's wild, because I know that I'm operating not from a place of lack. And I say that often because I don't want to say that I lacked a lot when I was younger. Although I did, in the same breath, I also received a lot. I don't think that I would be the person or woman that I am today if I didn't receive the things that I am today. Like, I'm very loving, I'm very nurturing. I love to have fun. I'm very family oriented, but I also know that my children are important to me, and that level of importance, it carries a lot of integrity and respect. And I just want to make sure that I show up for my kids. Like, that is important to me. I cannot fathom or understand how there are parents out there that won't show up for their kids for the sake of, I don't know how to do it. I'm speaking about the men. I don't know how to do it, or I don't want to do it, or I'm going through something right now and I'm not capable of doing it. Well, if you're aware of that, why don't you seek the help to go and figure it out? So anyway, while I have created that prison, right, I'm still making the necessary steps to pull myself out of it. One, it's awareness. Now I'm aware. My therapist pointed it out. My spirit told me, Jasmine, you got to do something to change this, girl, because you can't be in this same energy off and on throughout your years. Like, you just can't be like this or be in this space. So what are you going to do about it? And of course, I can't do everything on my own, which is why I went and sought help. Right? And I love spending time with my kids. I love putting a smile on their faces. But I also am on that journey of, I love putting a smile on my face. I did that. Girl, I love you. Girl, I appreciate you. You're doing so great. I love that you responded to this way rather than crashing out, because I am a habitual former crash outer. Now I don't say shit. Like, for what, you know? So I am here to remind you that while you are a single parent, you are also your own priority. You must do for you first. You must create appointments for yourself the same way you do non-negotiable appointments for your kids. And I say appointments because my high school friend who I go to the gym with now from time to time, he had said, like, he asked me, like, when we gonna link up again? And I'm like, the times that he wants to are the times that I'm realistically telling myself, like, I need my sleep. But anyway, he said, you gotta make yourself an appointment. And it's true. Using that concept of making an appointment for yourself to do for you is a good way of looking at it, which is why I say you'll make appointments, non-negotiable appointments for your kids. Like, you make that appointment for their annual well exam, their 6-month dentist appointment, or if they're under the weather, you calling out sick, or you putting in that sick time to go take that time off to go and take your kid to the doctor's office, or even yourself. But how about doing the things like taking off for yourself? Let me have a rest day today. Work is always going to be there. Things are always going to be urgent at work. But if you're not taking care of yourself, who will? Right? So I book a monthly massage, and I was telling myself I wanted to cancel. There I go. Wanting to go into my little shell again. No, bitch, you're sticking to your schedule. Your calendar says on this day you're going to get your monthly massage. We're going to stick to that because that works for you. And you get out the house. You leave the town that you're in. You go to another town. And you get you that good 60-minute massage. As a matter of fact, I'm about to see if I can up it to a 90-minute massage. You schedule your nail appointments and your pedicure. What else do I schedule? Oh, the gym. 3 times a week. 3 appointments per week for an hour. This is important to you. Not only because you want to look good, you want to feel good, right? You got to program your mind. I've also implemented meditating. I've noticed how I feel when I meditate 3 times a day. I have an alarm set for the morning, midday, and right before bed. I do a 5 to 10 minute meditation, breath work. My mind be scrambling, but I always go back to my breathing, and it just helps. And I've noticed how my mood has been since I've been doing that. The thought of me choosing myself first and doing things for me first before I do for my kids is monumental for me. And it's also, what do kids do? They do as you do, not what you say. So if I'm showing them that I'm going to the gym and I'm making sure that I do what I need to do to take care of my health because it is important, and I explain some of these things to them, or mommy's going to rest for about an hour or chill for about an hour before I go ahead and do this, they're understanding that concept. They're understanding that concept of also boundaries, you know? I didn't understand that concept when I was younger. I truly did not, because I wasn't told and I didn't see it. I've seen the people in my life, the most important people in my life, get run over. I've seen the most important people in my life people please. I don't people please anymore. I don't. And if I do it, I catch myself. It does not make me feel good. It is not a good feeling. And the same energy that I would give to people, people don't give to me. I don't like not being loved the same way I would love you. Like, I know everyone's love is different, but if you ain't fucking with me like that, if you ain't checking on me like that, I'm not going to check on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is important to me. Anyway, quick side note. I was on TikTok the other day, and this video showed the meanings of love languages and why this dude gonna post and write acts of service equals daddy issues. I was like, I feel attacked. Like, why you had to say that? And the other one was gifts giving or gift receiving equals broke. That shit was a low-key tea, but yeah, it's true. So with that said, I'm going to bring this episode to a landing and share these key points. And if you're open to it, write yourself a letter of forgiveness. Then read it to yourself in front of your mirror. Or if you have a therapist and you have not done a practice like this or an assignment like this, bring this to their attention and see what they think about it. Or read it out loud and record yourself and then play it and hear yourself if you don't want to do it in a mirror. And see what that does for you. The other thing is finding ways to pull yourself out of that mental prison that you may have perhaps put yourself in, or how are you going to take yourself out, or what are the things that you're going to do. One of the things that I told my girlfriend in North Carolina, I said, you know what? Because it was so good talking to her. We haven't spoken on FaceTime like that in over a year or so, maybe more. And she was like, when are you going to come visit? Like, it can't, when was the last time I saw you? And I was like, oh, when my little one was 2. And he's about to be 5. And she's like, Jasmine, like, that is not okay. That's my alarm for me to go do my homework. So I'm wrapping this up, y'all. So I said, you know what? Yes, we do have to make plans for the summer, but how about this? Let's do a virtual date. Like, let's have dinner, but we have to go to a restaurant, and we'll have our little setup. We'll have our phone up, and we'll do FaceTime. Like, we'll order food, have a drink. She got so excited. She was like, oh, I love this idea. That will force me to get out because she's in a new city, a new town, a new state, and it will force her to get out, be mixy, get to know other locations or whatnot, and it'll get me out of the house too, because same thing. So we're gonna do that, and I still have that meet and greet event that I booked from the last one that I had, where I shared with you all this young lady on TikTok who's a divorcee, just moved to Houston, has created this meet and greet to meet new people, and there are going to be singles at this event. So I'm looking forward to that. Just doing things that Jasmine and things that people my age should be doing. And lastly, don't forget to set your appointments for yourself. Do them for the next 4 weeks, whatever those things are, whether it's 2 things within the next 4 weeks, however it fits your pockets and all those things. Make sure you prioritize yourself first and write these things out. Create it to a high level of importance for yourself. And if it's a moment where you're like, right now, all I want to do is just rest, then schedule an appointment to just be like, this day, I'm not going to do nothing. And before I close out, I got to mention to you guys that I'm currently reading 4 books, and I'm reading them simultaneously. Although the romance book, girl, I'm just reading that. I'm reading it because it's so good. But let me give you the titles. And I actually love these books. I like to read them in the morning when I'm dropping off my kid to school. That way I put in some self-development. So I'm reading I Love You More by Jenna Banks, all on Audible. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. The Man, the Moment Demands by Jason Wilson. And this black romance called, oh my gosh, because it's so good, Behind the Scenes by Christina C. Jones. Whoo, hot and heavy, but it's so good. Did not think it was what I thought it was. All on Audible. Check them out. And ladies, I thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to what I have to share and say. I thank you for sharing this with another fellow mom and making this go international. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review if you found that this episode was helpful. Until the next episode, peace.